Hello and welcome back to Nerd Doc. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Vikings Valhalla ending, as well as explaining some of the main plot points throughout the Netflix series. There will be Vikings Valhalla spoilers. If you do not wish to be spoiled, you can check out our spoiler-free review, linked below. You'll also find all of our other Vikings Valhalla videos below, including what we expect from Season 2 and when we might see it, as well as a look at how historically accurate Vikings Valhalla is. If you have any questions about the plot or ending of Vikings Valhalla Season 1, leave a comment and we'll try to answer as best we can. Valhalla starts off with the St. Brice's Day Massacre, where the current King of England kills nearly all Vikings living in England at the time. Historically, the Vikings were frequently raiding, and the English wanted this to stop, but in the show it's more about the English nobles not wanting to deal with the Vikings, more because of their heritage than anything else. In either case, the nobles pressured the king to remove them, so he did. Harald Sigurdsson, Prince of Norway, leaves England just before the massacre happens. Once King Canute of Denmark hears of the slaughter, he summons as many Viking warriors as possible to Kattegat in Norway in order to get revenge on England. One of those warriors was Olaf Haraldsson, half-brother of Harald Sigurdsson, and one of the main antagonists in Season 1. At the same time, Leif Erikson happens to arrive at Kattegat with his sister Freydis. From here, Leif ends up joining King Canute's army, and Freydis starts to fall in love with Prince Harald Sigurdsson, while also training to become a formidable warrior in Kattegat. The King of England who ordered the massacre dies before the Vikings get to London, but his son, King Edmund, takes over. The Vikings successfully attack London by taunting Edmund and luring him out beyond London Bridge. Leif Erikson brings down London Bridge with the help of Olaf's ships, and Edmund is trapped. However, instead of killing Edmund, King Canute keeps him alive to rule by his side and keep the nobles in line. Canute needs the support of the nobles to keep control over England and avoid an uprising. Edmund knows the nobles better than Canute and can be helpful keeping them in line, even after most of the nobles pledge their support to Canute. In reality, Edmund was more of a figurehead than anything else. He had no real power, but his presence did help Canute maintain control. During this time, Olaf had planned to take over Norway, which Canute was against. Olaf convinces Queen Aelfgifu, wife of King Canute, to use her power to help him. He actually does this by lying to her about what's happening between Canute and Queen Emma of England. He makes it seem as though they're on the verge of being married, upsetting Queen Aelfgifu. While Canute and Emma do eventually get married, Olaf wasn't aware of this when he left London. He lied to Aelfgifu in order to get her to help him. While King Canute is in England and away from his fleet, the Queen has the power to control the fleet. She uses it to sail to England, keeping the fleet far enough away that King Canute will have difficulty finding it, but close enough that she can attack if there's a problem, giving her insurance that she won't just be immediately killed. However, by the time she arrives in London, Canute has already left in order to defend the borders of Denmark from another invasion, leaving his father, King Forkbeard, in charge back in London. Forkbeard can't kill Aelfgifu because the fleet will attack if they don't hear word from her. Instead, Queen Emma comes up with a plan. They make it seem as though Forkbeard is banishing Emma back to Normandy, then their trusted hand Godwin convinces Aelfgifu to propose forming an alliance with Mercia, giving them time to locate the fleet, neutralizing her power. Back in Kattegat, Leif Erikson's sister Freydis leaves to go to the Temple of Uppsala to discover her destiny. This was a very religious place for the Vikings. Freydis has a vision of the seer while she's at Uppsala. This is actually the same seer from the original Viking show, even played by the same actor. Freydis has a vision of a great battle with people calling for her help, and the seer dubs her the last. This vision is a battle of Kattegat that takes place at the end of the season. Instead of abandoning the people calling for her help as she did in her vision, the seer is basically telling her to become stronger so she can defeat the coming danger. Freydis goes back to Kattegat and puts in the work to become one of their best warriors. The end of Vikings Valhalla Season 1 features a great battle in Kattegat. Olaf has joined forces with Jarl, a devout Christian who seeks to destroy the pagan religion. Jarl has also visited the seer, even though he's not pagan, and even keeps the seer locked in a cage. At least, that's what he thinks in his head. He also knows Freydis is considered the last, and thinks that if he kills her, that will bring an end to the pagan religion. Basically, Hakon, leader of Kattegat, has seen a vision of the coming battle, with only one person left standing to carry on the pagan religion and Viking traditions of old. While at first she thought it was her, she now realizes this is Freydis, with the last meaning she will be the last pagan to survive the battle. Jarl also knows this, which is why he thinks killing her will bring an end to the pagan religion. Harald Sigurdsson is working with Freydis and the forces of Kattegat, but since Olaf is his half-brother and they need intel, he acts as though he switches sides and proposes a parley for a peaceful resolution. This was all done in order to give Leif Erikson a hint that Olaf's forces would be attacking from both the sea and the land, which was unheard of at the time because of the difficulty in attacking Kattegat from the sea. Sailing into Kattegat is notoriously difficult, but when you have a very high tide, you can actually sail over most of Kattegat's defenses. This is exactly what happens during the Wolf's Moon. Unfortunately, Olaf saw through this ruse and tricked his brother into dividing Kattegat's forces with no intention of actually invading from the sea. Olaf even let Jarlglora's forces engage first, weakening those forces and the forces of Kattegat, making it much easier for Olaf to move in toward the end of the battle with minimal resistance. Freydis ends up killing Jarlglora in their fated battle, but Olaf's plan works to perfection and they take over Kattegat. Just as they start to celebrate, King Forkbeard shows up with Canute's fleet that Aelfgifu so graciously provided. Even though Aelfgifu sailed the fleet to England, Forkbeard is still king and can command the fleet as well, especially with Aelfgifu out of the picture now. Harald Sigurdsson is injured in battle, but Freydis finds him and they both leave to safety before Olaf claims victory. Leif Erikson's love interest dies during the battle, causing him to go berserk, embodying his father, Eric the Red's infamous rage. He was calm when he was around his love, but now that she's gone, he has essentially become his father, who killed mercilessly and was banished to Greenland because of it. The season ends with Olaf's army retreating as King Forkbeard's ships arrive in Kattegat. Olaf drops the pelt covering his armor so he blends in more with his men as they retreat. He doesn't want to be found by Forkbeard because the king will surely want his head. Kattegat has been saved, but there were many casualties along the way. Kattegat will need a new ruler, and Olaf will still need to be taken care of. Vikings Valhalla Season 2 and 3 have been confirmed, with filming on Season 2 already complete. Find out how we think Season 2 will play out in our Vikings Valhalla Season 2 video linked below, and leave a comment if you have any questions about the plot or ending of Season 1. For now, that wraps up this video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves Vikings.